In this video, I'll be going over the differences between a half-ton Suburban and a three-quarter-ton, and which one you should choose. So let's get right into it. So I've got two Suburbans here. This black one is an 04 three-quarter ton with 8.1 liter, and it's been leveled and has 33-inch tires, so 285 75 16-inch tires. This other one is I think 01 or 02, and it's a half-ton Suburban. It has the lift in the rear, so it has a new coil in the rear. New coils, Moog coils, and front we did a torsion key, to lift it up. So anyway, so it has the lift. It has 285 75 16, so the same size tire, and they both have the Bilstein 5100 shocks. So that's just an overview of these so far. They haven't been built out on the interior yet, but the base work has been done. So this video will be going over which Suburban is the best fit for you, and this would be, I'll put this in I don't know what playlist. I think like an add-on playlist. I don't know, I'm still trying to figure it out, but this is really good information to have when you're choosing which Suburban or Yukon XL or Tahoe or Trailblazer. There's a lot of options that we have here, so this will hopefully help out. So let's go over the three-quarter ton first. I'll do a quick walk around. You'll notice on three-quarter tons you'll have 8 lugs. That's the first indicator. So this is an 8-lug Suburban. This particular one's a barn door, but that doesn't have anything to do with if it's a three-quarter ton or not. The hitch will be rated for more than the half tons. And obviously it'll have more payload, gross vehicle weight, so you can tow more. They are heavier, and I'll get these details in the description below, but these are definitely heavier. The three-quarter tons will almost always have a larger engine, except for in the 90s, they did, I think it was 92 to 99, they offered a three-quarter ton with the 350, and that's a good option too, but more than likely it'll have the bigger engine, so it'll either have a 454, which is a 7.4 liter, and those are found in the 90s rigs, or it'll have a 6.0, so that started in 2000 on these Suburbans. It's a 6.0, and it comes out to like a 365 cubic inch, or you'll have a 8.1, which is the biggest engine that GM did for Suburbans and all their trucks and stuff. It's a 496. So the 7.4 liter and the 8.1 liter are your big blocks, so you'll have more torque and tend to tow, you could say, a little bit better. This is all up to debate, but the 6.0 is still a small block, but it does really well too. I've driven all of them and have towed with all of them, and they all do great. So the 8.1s are arguably more coveted because they're very rare. So this is an 8.1, and that's what we have for our tow vehicle that you've seen in other videos. But why would you go with the three-quarter ton? So it comes down to, I think, 2 advantages to a three-quarter ton in my mind are obviously towing. So if you're towing a big trailer and just want to feel like you're in command a little bit more with the trailer, I would go with the three-quarter ton. It has rear leaf springs, and just is rated for more weight. And so that makes towing a smaller trailer obviously a lot better too. So you get the power and the weight of the vehicle, which is more than a half ton, and those both help out with towing. Another reason would be drivetrain. So drivetrain wise, main differences on these and a half ton are going to be the transmission and the rear differential. The transmission on these is a 4L80E. It's more of a heavy duty transmission that you'll find in trucks and stuff. It's not the Allison, so they didn't do Allison in these era of Suburban, but it is a 4L80E. Arguably lasts longer. That's also up to debate, but I've, both last a long time, but the 4L80E, I'd venture to say that tends to last longer. And I just like the way they shift personally better. It's just, anyway, it might just, the combination of the big block and the, or the bigger engine and the 4L80, I just like driving them. So those are your two main, advantages. And then the other is the rear differential. It's a 14 bolt semi-float, so it's not a full floating rear diff. But with that 14 bolt, again, it's more heavy duty and they tend to last longer. So those are your main differences there. Fuel tank is going to be bigger. So for example, this 8.1 has a 35 gallon and the half-ton versions in this era have a 31. So with having said that, the fuel tank is bigger, but it's bigger for a reason. The 3/4 tons will get worse fuel economy. This thing, like I said, I've put a lot of miles on an 8.1. We have one still. We get 10 miles a gallon no matter what. So if you're dry, or if you're hauling something, or if you're just cruising around town, highway, you're going to get around 10 miles a gallon. That's on the 8.1. And you'll see that across the board with the 7.4 and the 6.0. The only anomaly would probably be the 90s with a 3/4 ton with a 350. So you'll get a little bit better fuel economy. There's two reasons for that. Obviously, the bigger engine and the big block, the displacement on it, it uses more fuel. But the other reason too would be the gear ratio. Most of the time, these 3/4 tons come with a 4:10 gear ratio, which is a really good ratio for towing, and even 410s are good for crawling too, rock crawling or off-road, versus the 373s, which is the most common found in the half-ton. So in summary, 3/4 ton, you get the beefier drivetrain. In my opinion, probably funner to drive just because of how much power they have. But you're gonna miss out on the fuel economy, right around 10. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. And so because of that, your range will become a little bit less than a half ton, even with the bigger fuel tank. So those are just all things to consider. And these do come, these are more expensive than the half ton. We do charge more for the 3/4 ton. So that pretty much sums it up. Interior and everything else is identical to a half ton, and the exterior. Next we'll go over this half ton. So this is probably 95% of our clients will go with a half ton, just because they're more affordable, and they don't need the towing capability and the drivetrain of the 3/4 ton. We're only running 33-inch tires on these, and so as far as like braking stuff, axles and different components, the half ton does just fine. So that's unnecessary. If we were doing 35s and stuff, then yes, 3/4 ton would be something you'd want to do. But so that's not the main difference, or the the deciding factor. So most of our clients do go with the half ton, and these still can tow. You know, they still have a good rating. It still is a V8. So these half ton versions from 92 to so 92 to 99, or really way back. So the most common is a 350 V8, and that started way back in the day. But from 87 to 95, they did a throttle body fuel, their first type of fuel injection. That was a 350, so a 5.7 liter. And then in 2000, 96 to 99, they did another type of V8. It's still a 350, but they just did another type of injection system, and they branded that the Vortec. So 96 and up are the Vortec small block V8s. And then in 2000 was the 5.3 for these Suburbans. So this one has a 5.3 V8, and then the transmission is a 4L60E with a 10-bolt rear differential. So that's the main components of the drivetrain that we'll go over. But for the most part, the half tons again are plenty for our clients. This one has a 31-gallon tank, and you're going to get 13 to 15 miles per gallon depending on driving habits and everything. So you still have a pretty good range. And parts wise, I would say they're very similar prices as far as 3/4 tons and half tons go. Shops are gonna have parts in stock, and it'll be readily available regardless of if you go with the half ton or 3/4 ton. But I would say advantages for the half ton would be fuel economy, number one, and a little bit of range, depending on your fuel tank size. In the 90s, they had 44-gallon tanks, so it was kind of a non-issue. But with these newer ones, they have smaller tanks, so it's something to think about. But I think that pretty much sums it up. The half ton, again, it's very common as far as our builds go, and it's plenty. But I would venture to say another advantage you could say for the 3/4 ton, I'm jumping around here, but these probably would hold their value more. 3/4 ton Suburbans, they stopped making them, gosh, I think in 2011. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but so they don't make a 3/4 ton Suburban anymore unless it's for government use, and there's always exceptions. But for as far as readily available 3/4 tons, this 04, especially with this 8.1, is going to keep its value. I'm going to end this video inside because this train today is driving me nuts. But if you didn't know, SUBOVERLAND, we are pretty much right on the tracks. So some days are better than others, and today's been I've been battling it. But so in review, I would go with a 3/4 ton Suburban, A, if you were towing, and B, you wanted, I guess, a beefier drivetrain for whatever reason, and the gear ratio, or if you really just liked a big block and a little more fun to drive, a little more power. So those are the main reasons for a 3/4 ton in my mind. The half ton is, for most clients, it's if you tow once in a while, maybe not like a huge trailer, but they can still tow a good amount. So if you're more conscious on fuel economy and the upfront cost, I would go with the half ton because it doesn't cost as much upfront as the 3/4 ton, and you get a little bit better fuel economy. If you do the math, the 3/4 ton yearly on average will probably cost you about $500 more than the half ton. So some people would be like, well, geez, that's not that much. Or some others would be like, dang, I could use that somewhere else. So that's for you guys to decide. But hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them. And if you're a client on the waiting list, feel free to reach out. We're always here to answer questions. Hope you liked the video, and please feel free to watch all of, the rest of our videos, going over differences between the Suburbans and different add-on items and all that stuff that we offer. But thanks for watching, and till next time.